Okay, so Sam got a little bit scared of that dog wearing the sunglasses, so she's just gonna take a little nap up here. Okay, first we're gonna break down the prompt. All right, the prompt says, you have learned a lot about the westward expansion this year. Write a diary entry from the perspective of someone who lived during the westward expansion. Be sure to include at least 10 historical facts that you learned about what life was like during the westward expansion, at least one example of dialogue, and at least 5 examples of sensory details. Okay, so we know the first step when we're trying to answer a question or answer a prompt is to break it down into what is it really asking you to do. So I want you to try to use the prompt to answer, to fill in or finish these sentence starters. I have to write A from the perspective of, and I need to include what are the 3 things you need to include. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, so let's see if you got it right. I have to write a diary entry. Good job. From the perspective of, drum roll, someone living during the westward expansion, right? We were just studying all about the westward expansion before we left school. And now you're going to write as if you were living during that time. And you need to include 10 historical facts, 1 example of dialogue, which should be easy for most of you, so I probably challenge you to put in more dialogue, and 5, which also should be easy for most of you, examples of sensory details. Okay, now we know what we have to do. The first step, step 1, is decide who do you want to be. So here's my model answer for planning my diary entry. I decided I want to be a Mexican woman who wants to find gold in the West. I'm going to be a woman who's from Mexico who wants to find oro in the oeste of the United States. Okay, who do you want to be for your diary entry? You could be one of these people. You could be an African American cowboy because we read about that. You could be a pioneer who traveled on the Oregon Trail in the West in a wagon with their family. You could be a Native American who's forced to move west on the Trail of Tears. We read about that too. You could be a person working on the Transcontinental Railroad, or you could be a person looking for gold during the gold rush, okay? So the first 3 here are the ones that we've read about in class. Those you should feel very prepared to do. The last 2, I would say if you're really curious and you want to challenge yourself and you want to learn more about something we didn't really read that much about in class, then you can do the last 2. But if you want something that's not going to be too hard on your brain, then I would say numbers 1, 2, and 3 would be good for you. Okay, so now you are going to answer this question on the left. I don't know which way it pops up. Okay, on the left and in the graphic organizer that's in the exit ticket. Who are you? You're going to type that into this box. Who do you want to be? And you can use these as ideas. I would say pick from this list of who do you want to be.